Hi, today I'm going to be talking about commenting techniques, and I'll show you multiple styles and you can kind of get a feel for what you want to do in your code. And then I'll show you how I comment my code and how I use comments for debugging. So there's basically two comments. There's the inline comment and there's the block comment that allows multiple lines within the curly braces here. You can put comment blocks inside of comment blocks, but it does something weird where it may color the last curly brace some color. There's a more extreme example of that where it has multiple little curly braces here inside of it, and it, for some reason, colored this yellow. Inline comment inside a block comment, you can do that. I did it below where I show you comments inside of a large block comment. Using links in comments, this one's kind of tricky because for some reason it doesn't like the S. It doesn't like HTTP. So if I remove the S, then it goes away. And if you happen to paste that in there and you can't see it, it's still there. You can just highlight the whole thing, find where you need to put the S and put it back in there, and then the comment works just fine. This is comments within code within comments. I don't recommend this because it's kind of hard to read. So let's look at some endline comments. So if you're just starting out with this, maybe on day one, you're like, oh, I think I'll do this. This looks nice. Then by day 2, you spread these out and you're like, that looks really nice because it's blocked. Well, by day 30, you're like, what the heck? I could still read them. And then after a year, you get tired of looking at them, and then you come back with something simple and you just use a double slash on the end. If your code gets rather long, you can use separator comments for sections. So this is one example of using that. When you scroll through the code, these pop out at you pretty quickly. Block comments. This one is way too much work. It looks kind of fancy. That's very, very, very old school. This one's informative and easy to maintain. My preferred style for code that I use for myself is just something very simple like this, where I just have the author. This is whoever I got it from, or maybe the website, and then I have a link down here, again, the HTTPS, and then the date that I acquired that. One of the nice things about using block comments like this is you can fold the code. So if I wanted to fold all these out of the way, I could click that and they'll fold right up. Now this one has history in it and versions. So there's two ways you can do this. You can do it chronologically from the top down, or you can do it chronologically from the bottom up. This one shows you the most recent release and date at the top. And so all you have to do is look here to find out what was the last release. And then the one right before it is right there. This one is upside down. So this one is chronological from the top down. Now, I typically use this because I don't have a lot of revisions that I look at. So I wind up just looking at the bottom one. I don't have very far to scroll. So I'll see what the last revision was and then maybe the one before it. I find this is easier to read because it's in chronological order, and it's typically how we'll read something from top to bottom. Now here's some commenting best practices. Strive to write code that's self-documenting. So in this example here, we have two order providers. We have one for active orders and we have one for terminal orders. And what we did is we used a variable called OP1 and OP2. Now they're not very descriptive variables, so it would be better to actually change the variable name to OP active orders and OP terminal orders and let the code be more self-documenting so that we don't have to add a comment to that. Plus, it'll help you when you use OP order, the OP active orders or the terminal orders later in the code. I've seen this one before in past places I've worked where you'll set x equal to 10 and there'll be a comment that says set x equal to 10 or set x to 10. Long comments can benefit from code folding, which I showed you above. If a routine requires too many comments, consider rewriting it. If you use the word tricky in the comment, consider rewriting the code or the section of the code. Comment parts of the code you need to come back to with the word to do, such as to do add vix check. To do is easy to search for, and it doesn't usually appear in variables. Keep comments close to the code it describes. That's a good one. Special use. I comment indicators at the top of the document if it's not complete. Sometimes I'll work on something and I'll get distracted or I run out of time working on it and I'll save it and then I come back to it and then I work with it for a few minutes and then I figure out, hey, this thing doesn't work. And I didn't leave myself a comment. So I comment those types of indicators now. If I don't finish them, then I put a comment at the top, maybe what has to be done, or if there's an incorrect calculation or something in it. And there's a bonus that I leave myself sometimes if I comment what's needed to finish it. Try to be consistent with your comments, and you may need to update your style as you grow and become a better coder. Comments that span multiple lines are easier to read if continued line is indented like this one. Here we have a multi-line example, and then this is what it would look like with the indent on the front. I typically don't put a period at the end of a comment unless it's more than one sentence. I use a different style when commenting code versus commenting out code. So the difference is where here, this would be a comment, and it's got a little space in front of it. And then the commented out code has no space between it. Because if I'm going to uncomment it, then I don't want to have to delete the space. If I'm temporarily commenting something out and I intend to restore that shortly, well, I'll often pull that item to the left margin. And this helps me determine the difference between code I need to uncomment versus code that needs to stay commented out. So here's an example of that. So I have vars for account manager, and let's say I was working with this and I wanted to see something by commenting out some of these lines. So normally these would all line up. I would have V1, V2, V3, 4, and 5. And then these comments wouldn't actually be there. So what I'll do is I'll pull this all the way to the left column and I'll do my code comment. And then I know that this one was commented out, but because I didn't move it to the left side, I'm not going to uncomment that because it wasn't uncommented to begin with. So all I'm interested in is testing this one, and I'm going to quickly uncomment it after I finish my debugging. You can set up block comment and block uncomment with hotkeys. And then here's some code to test it on. So I'll show you how to do that. You can go here and then come down to customize, and it will open this menu. Or you can go up to view, toolbars, and customize it there. Then we're going to go over to keyboard. We're going to go to the edit option. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look for comment block. I've got this assigned to Alt-K. So I'm going to remove that. So the way that you add a hotkey to it is you click here, and then I'm going to press Alt-K. And then it's going to tell me if that is unassigned or if it's assigned to something. So it's not assigned, so I'm going to go ahead and assign it. Now that's the comment block. We have to go find the uncomment block, which will be down here. It's in alphabetical order. And I've already got Alt-L to it, so I'm going to remove that. And I'll press Alt-L, and it's not assigned. So I will assign it, and then I will click close. So now if I come up here and I look at advanced, my comment block is Alt-K, and my uncomment block is Alt-L. I did the K for comment, and then I did the L because it was close to the K. I was looking at some other characters that were on the left side of the keyboard, but it was kind of cumbersome to hit Alt and then a key there because it kind of cramps your hand to hit the key. So Alt with the left hand and then K and L with the right hand, and they're right next to each other. So here I could just say I wanted to comment this out here. I'll hit Alt-K and it comments it. Now notice it did a double comment here, which is fine because if I come back in here and I hit Alt-L, it puts it right back to where it was. Well, that's it. So if you found this video helpful, give me a like and share at the bottom. And if you have any questions or comments on comments, then leave those below. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.